Right. Whatever happened today, and I know it was a tough day, there's still big issues and hurdles over AIG, Washington Mutual. I believe he's on the right track, and I believe stocks are going to recover.
On Wednesday, after being in free fall since June 12th.
About a low opening, what I'm looking for is, again, catharsis.
We all know that the stock market can be a real bear. Why play with your own money when you can try your hand at the stock market with fake money using our state-of-the-art application on your mobile device? You can play risk-free on our virtual stock market. Registration is easy with the app. You can buy or sell shares using real-time information. Stay on top of the latest trends and watch your profits soar, or secretly cry about your losses. You'll always know what stock is hot and which is not. And stay in the know by reviewing up-to-date information for each and every company on Wall Street. So who are we? Our team consists of Micah Meehan, Jason Rice, David McDonald, and Gary Morris. We are otherwise known as the A-Team.
Our aim is to create an app that will be both fun and inviting to encourage both veterans and inexperienced alike to invest in the stock market. Our intent is to make our virtual stock exchange to mimic the experience of trading real stock. This includes the need to have real-time stock updates and the ability to buy or sell any individual stock, along with the ability to view current news about said stock.
Our project very closely follows the user-centered design process. We focus on discussing the fundamental basics of our plan before introducing the idea to our potential users. We conduct research to create our personas. We developed project requirements by researching how our users might interact with our system. We established what the user and business both want and need in the application. We then produced a design for our first iteration and tested it with user feedback. We will continue to the next iteration of UCD soon.
When the users open the application, they will be taken directly to their home page. On the top of the home page, you can see the user's account balance, the user's current stock portfolios, total value, any gains or losses the user had on that particular day, and the current amount of funds owed if the user decides to take a loan for a big trade. Underneath these listings, you can see a rolling ticker displaying the current gains or losses on any stocks in the user's portfolio, either owned by the user or that the user is watching for a potential buy. On the middle of the screen, you can see an overview of the user's portfolio, listing all the stocks owned by the user and the current value of those stocks, as well as any gains or losses those stocks recently experienced. Next to the stocks is a buy and a sell button for the user's convenience. Underneath this box are buttons to transition through the user's stock pages if the user owns many different stocks and they can't all be displayed on one page. Finally, on the bottom of the page is a search bar for the user to search for new stocks.
Let's have a look at the search page. It features the same account balance display, a search text box with a button, a custom filter, and a list of search results. The list shows a title of a stock with a link, a current price, and a buy button. The list also has a scroll bar to the right side.
When you click on an individual stock from the search page or from your own portfolio, the app will take you to a detailed stock page. Dominated by a graph showing the history of the stock price over a specified time interval, the stock page will also include detailed information about the company, including the current price, the change in price since opening, the current market value of the company, and the number of shares you own. Most importantly, it will give you the option to buy or sell the stock and a link to view any news about the company.
Now let's view the transaction page. The account balance is present since it shows the buying power of a user. The stock has a name with the number of shares you own. This page also features the possible purchase types, which include market, limit, and stop limit. The purchase date may also vary by the choice of a user. The bottom of a page shows the number of shares in a transaction, with the resulting change in account balance. The Confirm button finalizes any transaction.
Transitioning to the bank page, you can see a back button located at the top of the page. so the user can return to whichever page they had previously been on. Moving down the page, the users will be able to see a breakdown of the user account balance, including how much money the player has, how much money is currently owed to the bank, and how much interest the player owes to the bank. Underneath this overview of funds is a box showing the current interest rate of the bank and displays 3 buttons that allow the user to choose an amount if they wish to borrow funds from the bank. These amounts will change depending on how much money the user has accrued. Underneath this box is a display of the current funds owed, as well as options to pay back the bank in full, by half, or by amount of the user's choosing. Finally, on the bottom of the page is a button labeled File Bankruptcy/Start Over, which will allow the users to restart the game. From the feedback received about the home page on how the search bar was a bit confusing and that the button to transition to the bank page was difficult to find, we have decided to drop the search bar completely and give it its own page. This also contributed to our decision to create a menu bar across the top of the page to transition to the search page and to the bank page, making it more clear for users to understand.
Based on the feedback from users, the search page seems to be well done. The users particularly liked the navigation buttons on the top and the filter to provide a custom user experience.
The only real feedback concerning the stock profile page was that the buy and sell buttons would both take you to the transaction page, so we've decided to combine those into one button.
There was no feedback given for the transaction page. We presume the users liked it, but we are unsure at this time.
From the feedback given on the bank page about how the player's funds breakdown was displayed, we decided to combine the interest and then just display the player's total funds, including any loans and the amount owed to the bank, including interest. We also decided to add a user-friendly pie chart to show the breakdown of funds. Currently, our project process reflects one full iteration. We have also begun to work on our second iteration by reformulating pages based on the feedback that we have received from the first iteration. While working on the first iteration, we learned that team communication and our understanding of the context of use is vitally important to our project's advance in the future. We are also beginning to converge our ideas by combining different parts of our pages to create a better user experience. One example of this is how the player funds are displayed to the users. The whole team agreed it would be best to show players' account balance on all vital pages under the term account balance, whereas before we had used different terms such as player funds and available balance. We also agreed on the idea to use a page transition bar on the top of all pages to transition between the home page, the bank page, the search page, and the help page. Taking from what we learned from Module 3 in class on interaction design, we have begun to apply some of the interaction design principles to our second iteration by making our pages consistent with the menu bar and making sure that we have minimal surprise by making our app similar to other apps by how the users transition through the pages.
A team of wizards is never late, nor are they early. They are always precisely where they mean to be. Unfortunately, we're not wizards. We're just the A-team. That being said, we're slightly behind schedule. We were hoping to have iteration 2 completed before this video. However, getting useful feedback from outsiders is deemed time-consuming. Speaking of which, feedback will most likely be our biggest risk to project success. If it continues to be a problem, we can offer a dollar amount to anyone who gives us any useful feedback. Another risk to project success is the race to the market. We realize that first isn't always best, but the first usually wins nonetheless. At the end of our next iteration, we should have our pages set and our terminology consistent throughout, after which we will be ready to start building click-through prototypes of our pages using our favorite tool.
In summary, we are currently working on our next iteration. This iteration will also have UI sketches. Once this iteration cycle completes, we will transition to low-fidelity prototypes by using the pencil application. Thank you for viewing our presentation.